welcome at IT on Tap for our December episode. And because we're in the last month of the year and the new year is coming up, we thought it's time for some improvement. All those promises you make on the 1st of January and then break on the 1st of February. It's all about how do you improve yourself, what we're gonna do better for next year. So we thought let's make that a topic for the episode, and we thought let's go for continuous improvement.
Continuous improvement, that sounds good.
It sounds like a buzzword. It's something that makes management happy.
It's true, and it's also a very good epic you can bundle all your tickets under if you don't have a real project going on.
This is way too close to home.
Yeah, sounds familiar?
Yes, a little bit. But continuous improvement. So yeah, this is like the ITIL way, the ITIL word, let's say. So it's improving on a continuous basis. And we thought it was a good subject because there's been a lot of conferences going on. Conference season is kind of slowing down. It's kind of over. I think we still have Google somewhere next week, or at least in Belgium. We have Cloud Week next week with Google. Last week was Ignite in Chicago for
that one
Microsoft.
Was quite interesting, though.
I followed a lot. I had some really short nights last week because in Belgian time the last sessions were ended at 1 a.m.
And they started quite late too. Or
yeah,
was it 5 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon?
At 3 in the afternoon. So I also didn't.
Afternoon.
Oh, no, I'm not going to say that because we might have some colleagues. But I quit my days at 3 in the afternoon.
But you started really early.
Yes.
I'm very sure.
Yeah.
Well, you always start very early, so I think 3 is a good hour for you to end the day.
I am an early bird, yes. And then last week we also did some security stuff with the infrastructure team because we rolled out conditional access on request of the security team.
Was that a difficult one? Yeah, so the first thing with implementing the conditional access was making sure that the infra team was on board on why we want to do conditional access policies. Everyone was used to using their own laptops, browsing to the environment of the company from anywhere in the world, using any computer. And from a security point of view, we thought, or we think this is dangerous with the whole token theft coming as a tactic and being really used by attackers. You want to make sure that when your tokens are stolen, the attackers cannot reuse or replay the tokens, and that you do with conditional access. You limit from where you can use them. The company devices, the compliant devices, the devices that you control. So yeah, how did the rollout go, Nick?
It actually went pretty smooth. I wouldn't say there were too much issues, and the issues that were there were things that we that we anticipated on. Let's say that our population, and I think a lot of people and a lot of ITers will recognize this problem. You send out an email, you send out communication 2 weeks ahead, you send out multiple reminder mails, and still people fail to read the emails. And when it happens, they're all like surprised and called to service desk like, I didn't know this was happening.
Well, I get it. Who likes to read emails? Huh? But are there like any tips or tricks you can give to other organizations who want to implement conditional access policies? What kind of struggles do you need to take into account in order to ensure a smooth rollout?
Oh, I think there are a lot. I think from a strategic standpoint or a business standpoint, there is the thing of usability versus security.
Always.
So you don't want to really go too hard and lock down everything because it's you hit your users in the way they work. So it's always a tough one. You always need to give something somewhere, or give a really good explanation. Have support from your higher management, because you need them to sell the story.
Yeah, and that is really important. The lead by example really helps here. If all the managers are behind the idea and they enforce everyone to do this and to follow the new way of working, it's easier to follow your manager instead of following someone from a completely different department who is just shouting into the air that you need to do this right now.
So for our case, we had backing from our CIO and our CISO, of course. He was definitely on board.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, we can say this also that the infrastructure, head of infrastructure was also behind the ID.
Definitely.
And it helps because then the whole infra team was also behind the ID.
Yeah, so we already had top management on board, and then we just needed to roll out and execute. And we had some technical restraints. One of the things that we really bumped into is device compliance. So making sure that your devices are compliant. It's a tough one because the device world is ever moving. It's always on the go. Sometimes you have people that are not compliant and you don't want to shut them out because their compliance check hasn't run. For the rest, it was actually quite smooth. We had some limitations with our VDI environment. Yeah. But we got around that with manual interaction, which was not ideal. But it works, so that's fine.
Actually, I want to come back to the device compliance, and it fits beautifully into the continuous improvement theme of today. So we have a couple of hundreds of laptops to manage, and before. Well, we manage them through Intune.
Make it
1,000.
We have 1,000.
1,000. Okay, 1,000 endpoints that we manage through Intune, and they weren't really all that compliant to everything. Correct. And then I mean, is the right antivirus product installed? Is the operating system up to date? Is the BitLocker encryption enabled? Is the secure boot on? And before, because we didn't have any regulations around it, it didn't matter if it was on or not. They could still work. And then the most important thing for you guys and those laptops was they need to work. And we will not hunt all our couple of hundred users where the device is not compliant because they can still work. But now all of a sudden the devices need to be compliant, and that actually gave us a nice leap in the compliance state of our whole fleet, and that was a very nice move.
We were already aware of the compliance issues. We were trying to fix them when we had time in between.
Indeed, it's pick your battles, right?
Yeah, now it became a hot topic because we needed them to be compliant. And we got some breakthroughs because there were some limitations why we couldn't action it before. And one of our engineer, let's call him like that, he will know who he is. He had he had some really good plans actually, because we had some limitations. How do you say it? We had an incident 2 summers ago.
Yeah, not the summer that just went by,
just
but
passed,
the one before.
Where due to an error in a script run by one of our service desk employees, he deleted all the devices out of our Azure Active Directory. And as some of the technical people will know, Azure Active Directory has no backup, so you cannot restore anything. So we needed to re-enroll all the devices, which made a mess of our Intune environment, which then had some issues with BitLocker keys not rotating, which was a security product's fault. But
was it? It was. Yes, it was.
So we had a couple of devices which did not have a BitLocker key in Azure AD, which made it really hard to go and say like, hey, let's turn on secure boot, because if you get a BitLocker error, we cannot recover because we don't have the key.
Yeah, and then you hurt the end users, because they won't be able to work anymore. They need to get a new laptop. Some of them don't work where the service desk is, so they need to, come into the office, switch the laptop, their old data is still on their old device. It is not backed up. It was not synced to the cloud. So it was well a pain in the a.
Yes. So our genius engineer, he made like a script to rotate and write it to Azure first. But then he was a little bit like, okay, but there needs to be a fix. We contacted Microsoft in the past. They didn't really know. They were like, this should work. Because there is actually a feature in Intune where you just rotate your BitLocker key. It didn't work. Turns out that it worked when you disabled one of our security agents, and there was a DNS request or a request to a certain DNS name being blocked.
It was not necessarily the DNS request that was blocked, but it was something in the stream, in the HTTP stream, was being blocked by our Casby product. And now you're gonna ask me, what is Casby? Casby is a cloud access security broker, and actually it is kind of a reverse proxy in the cloud where you proxy all your outbound traffic to, and it can do some security filtering and catch malware while in transit. It's a very cool product. I'm sure we will touch upon it later in the podcast when we talk about the new features that were revealed by Microsoft on their Ignite conference.
Yes, because no, not gonna say it yet. It's a secret. No.
You'll have to listen to the end.
Yes, you need to listen to the end to know. It's not a secret because who that followed Ignite knows already. But yeah, so he found that out. We could rotate our BitLocker so we could get our compliancy up, and now we're actually in full speed rolling out.
Yeah,
and it's going quite well. Or at least for my part, because I don't know about our service desk how funny they think it is when an end user calls like, I have a problem.
They don't think it's funny at all, but they just have to deal with it. So getting your end user company laptops to a compliant state is one of the main points to get conditional access working.
I must say it's definitely a basic stuff, and I think I see it as a failure that it wasn't. But we only have as much hands as we have.
Yeah, and again,
we're getting through it now. So this is improvement for 2025. First thing on the list.
All right.
Get better compliance.
Get better compliance and maintain it better. Because getting them compliant one day is all right, but if you then don't look at it anymore for the rest of the year, they will become not compliant again. I heard you mentioning the VDI environment as well. There were some issues with. I remember something about our thin clients getting to the VDI environment. Any tips and tricks there? That's maybe not It was that was a stupid issue. It is a stupid issue, but we need to think about it when you want to roll out conditional access. I think my take here would be know what kind of devices are connecting to your environment. Windows laptops, you manage, you have it under control. All the agents that you need to be installed are able to be installed on it. But those thin clients are usually Linux devices. They are not necessarily closed source, but not all agents are able to run on Linux the way they run on Windows. So you need a way to solve it, right?
Exactly. So that's exactly what we did. We got around with, we run into the Linux issue because indeed it is a Linux operating system that we use for the thin clients. We might change that. Again, stay tuned for farther along in the podcast.
Yes, indeed. And actually, I'm very stoked to change that. Maybe we should just move on to the Ignite announcements here. I am very eager to, throw our old thin clients into the garbage can and just start using this new thing. Do you want to talk about the new thing?
Well, you're not alone because our infrastructure manager already got into contact with Microsoft to see if we can get some test devices. but Belgium is not included in the preview, so too bad. Release is in April, and I'm talking about M365 Link. What is M365 Link? It is actually, it is a thin client basically, which runs your M365 desktop or AVD, which you can manage from the same plane as you would manage your physical devices, same policies, same everything.
It's awesome.
It supports two 4K monitors, which is quite
That is
something.
quite nice, yeah. I mean, I would be happy to work on two 4K monitors.
It has the standard AO you would expect from a thin client, and I think it runs for about $400. I think it's $395. That
I
they
have no
put the
idea
release
about
price on.
financial things, but yeah, let's say 400. I mean, it's probably kind of similar what we pay right now for the thin clients.
I will tell you later.
All right.
of the podcast. No, I have no idea yet. So yeah, I was on I had the day off today. I just saw the emails pass by, and me and my manager. Yeah.
Sweet.
Nice. We talked about it over the weekend, just on WhatsApp messages, because we were both kind of excited about the product. So we still need to make the use case and see how it will go. But I'm really excited about it. It is a really nice thing, especially for us, where we are planning on downsizing our VDI environment to something more smaller. And now currently we're using Citrix. I think everybody knows that Citrix changed their licensing game, and they are really, really going after the people that are dependent on the Citrix environment to get their money. So their licensing is not as fun anymore for for smaller companies or companies that don't have that big of an environment.
Well, they probably saw what Broadcom did with VMware and thought, hey, we can do the same.
I think it's the same line, yes. Of course, in the last years, there is a lot of inflation, so there's a lot of increase on licensing. But to give you an example, they changed to the universal license, and everybody that had more than 1,000 licenses needed to change. You had no choice, and you could not lower your license numbers. So you needed to take the same licenses. And for us, that was a really tough one, because we were just about to drop about 40% of our licenses, and we couldn't because we were stuck.
That's indeed a tough one.
Yeah, so we're changing that this year, which is fine. We can still downsize, but also Citrix for us is not the VDI environment is not a main product anymore. We have a lot of laptop users that actually log into Citrix just to access their legacy software.
Yeah, exactly. And for all the other stuff, they just use their Lineas laptop and they access platforms and tenants in the cloud. And you don't need to go through your VDI environment anymore to then browse to the internet again. It makes no sense. The users are already working from home or a remote station somewhere.
Yeah.
But they don't need to go into the data center to then go out again. It makes zero sense. So that's a good change, and we could actually have the VDI environment more for targeted users yes. that don't necessarily need a laptop to do their work, but they sometimes need to access some documents, and we need to provide them a way to access it. So a thin client is a logical choice here.
But now, I was going to say you activated my trap card, but you didn't. You got out of it on the last second by saying thin client, because I was going to be, you just introduced conditional access to only have work devices there. But okay, you saved yourself.
I saw the trap and I avoided it. What was it? Can we call it trap evasion?
Sure, whatever. Wow. Yu-Gi-Oh references. So where was I going? So yeah, I was gonna link that back into continuous improvement. So this is what we are doing. We are looking about where are we today, and how can we make ourselves able to, one, improve over the next year, but also make sure that we are future proof in the years to come. So this is not some like continuous improvement. You can always make like an improvement. Well, let's take it to the New Year's stuff. Like, hey, I'm gonna do an improvement. I'm gonna start running.
Oof, tough one.
I'm gonna start running, and okay, we're not. We are the perfect human here. We are not in the real life. We're gonna start running, and we're gonna do that for a year. That's great. Are you going to see the results after a year? Maybe not. You're not... maybe bad example, because running most of the time...
Yeah, you will see some results.
You will see results quite fast, and then it will slow down.
Yes, that's the thing. Or going to the fitness. The first year you don't really see improvement there, but True. you need to keep on going, and it's only after 2 years that you can really see your body bulking up.
You set yourself up for the future, and that's what continuous improvement is also about. So in terms of moving, why would we move from Citrix to like or now where we have like double users, why would we move them away? Because one, we're also moving our legacy applications and our data center. We are planning on reducing there as well and moving to the cloud. Mm-hmm. So it only makes sense to then also shift more to the cloud with our end users and how our end users access stuff.
Yeah.
So
makes total sense, because actually if you look at it from a different angle, the VDI environment with Citrix is also kind of a cloud environment that our users are accessing. It's just our cloud, it's our data center, mm-hmm. It's our infrastructure, but it's not present on the premise where they are. Correct. It's in the data center. So now we move to a cloud data center not maintained by us anymore. And it's, well, with the Stay Linked, then it's a Microsoft product. So all your conditional access policies, mm-hmm. they just fit in
meshes.
Yeah, and it's nice.
It's one nice big environment that just works together. And I know this there is this saying in the security world: don't put all your eggs in one basket. But I got Peter to admit last week to like maybe it is not that bad. So I think I'm feeling a win here, or a slight shift in mindset.
A slight shift in mindset, yes. Let me elaborate there a bit. So nowadays we have quite an extensive security stack that you can install for companies now. You have the default ones like the antivirus on the laptop. You have, which now is the EDR, the endpoint detector response. You have the NDR, the network detector response. You have your CASB product. You have your DNS security. You have your email security. All those things, they work well, but they would work better if they can talk with each other as well. And that is called XDR, Extended Detect and Response. We like buzzwords in the security world.
3-word acronyms.
Yes,
3-letter acronyms, sorry.
Yes, exactly. So XDRs. And it's true. Imagine your EDR catches a virus on a laptop and it kills the process. And it gets some intelligence about the malware. Maybe it is a file, it can check the signature of the file, the hash. You can give this hash to your email gateway security solution, and that solution can then check for the same hash in all different emails, and it can find which email it came from. And then it can automatically retrieve that email from all the users' mailboxes that received that email, and you have your whole incident response plan automated. And that is actually something really beautiful. But if you were like good security people back in the days, you have put all your eggs in different baskets. You went for all different vendors for all these different security layers, which is very good practice. I'm not saying you should not do this. It was very logical, but I am feeling that there is a shift going on now, and this XDR, if there are any security engineers listening to the podcast, you know it is a pain in the A to configure it, to maintain it, to make sure that it keeps working. You need to create a lot of API keys, distribute them in all your systems, and then if one API key expires, your integration is not working anymore. It's really difficult to get it to work and to keep it working. If you have put all your eggs in one basket, to put it this way, it just works seamlessly. If you go with the whole Microsoft security stack, it just works.
I think it's a funny thing because I think it ties back into the cloud discussion. When cloud became a thing and when the cloud data center became a thing, it was also like, yeah, but then we're giving control to, and then we're putting it somewhere where we can't control, but you're also giving away a lot of the day-to-day tasks that are really annoying. Like when you have a server in the cloud, you don't need to care about, oh, my RAM is giving a faulty error. No, that's something that Microsoft will fix.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think if you look at return on investment here, it might be worthwhile to go for the cloud product, and because you can put all your time and effort in different stuff, maybe stuff that is more beneficial for the company.
Yeah, and then, well, this is last year's announcement, but Sentinel also has now the predictive paths, so you can actually do like, like test attack paths in your environment. It's kind of what you would do with like a Bloodhound on AD, you know, analyze it like that and then go. Now we need to explain what does Bloodhound do, because not everybody knows pen testing tools.
Bloodhound is a freaking cool tool. I could talk about it for hours, but I'll
Let's not.
I'll keep it short here. Bloodhound is a graph analysis tool based on Active Directory, and nowadays also Azure Active Directory, where it ingests all the information, all objects that you have defined in your environment, and it links them together with, well, the relationships that objects have to each other. To make a very simple example here, it can see what users have what permissions to a certain server. Let's say your ADCS server, your certificate services, and it can see what kind of user objects have write access to this server. And then it knows, well, if you have write access to a certificate server, you can create a certificate template, you can make it vulnerable, and you can then escalate your privileges to domain admin or enterprise admin. And it goes really far that, in fact, one of the things that you can do with Bloodhound is you just ingest all the information of your Active Directory. You click on a low privilege user and you just right click on the user and you do shortest path to domain admin. And it goes through all the relations between all the different objects and it gives you the shortest path possible to domain admin.
I just log in.
no. Well, you would. But it's a very cool tool. And so you're saying that Sentinel has the same capability now?
Yes. So they can go from the client device to everything behind. You can really generate attack paths and see how far you can get.
So you could say laptop XYZ from the company. It can see this user is owner of the laptop. This user also has access to all these resources, and it can create a path.
Yeah, it does the pathing.
That's what Bloodhound does.
I think there is also some AI involved now. There is also a Copilot for security now. I don't know if I want to touch AI in the form of continuous improvement. Because we can really go deep and talk for hours, and also
that's true.
talk about, is it too soon? because that's something. Yeah. Okay, we're talking about Ignite anyway.
Yes.
So Microsoft announced a lot of co-pilots for productivity, for Office, like a lot. Like AI was the big thing at Ignite. Every session you followed, co-pilot got mentioned.
And makes sense. Actually, small little intermezzo, but it's funny, we never really mentioned AI before on the podcast, did we? We really kept away from the subject, huh?
We did. Also with reason that this is my personal opinion, of course. I think that I don't want to focus too hard on AI because it's still a developing and an ever developing thing. It's going fast. Not saying AI is a bad thing or I'm not on board with AI. I'm completely on board with AI. It's amazing what it can do.
It enhances your capabilities so much. Mm-hmm.
And then the only thing that I also think is that, and it's the same with everything that is new, like there is also gonna be developed, or there's also stuff gonna be developed that's actually kind of shit.
Because of AI.
Don't know, because of the hype around it. And everybody sees a use case for AI somewhere, and everybody's gonna act on it. I am definitely not an AI expert, so I cannot say anything. But there were a couple things that were announced at Ignite where I frowned. Smooth. Like, is this necessary? Like,
maybe not.
I understand AI being used for business processes that take a lot of intensity and take a
lot of time and effort
from if you let it be done by a human being, or even if you have it done by a program that cannot process everything with the same complexity an AI could do. Not taking away from that, those applications are amazing. Copilot that I can say after being away for 3 weeks on holiday, that I can say like, hey, get my most important emails or summarize my emails.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I love it. Like it's
super
great.
Cool. It takes away like 5 hours of your first day when you come back after holidays to see, okay, what kind of fires were going on? Where do I need to put my priorities? It's amazing that you can just ask Copilot.
Yeah, also like, oh, I have this meeting. Can you give me the action points that were assigned to me or where I was mentioned?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Like taking notes. You don't need someone to take notes anymore. You just put on Teams recording notation and you ask Copilot to make you your meeting notes, send them out to everybody. Great, amazing.
Indeed, that's a cool thing.
I use it a lot, like LLM, so large language models. I use it. We are actually looking for currently in our SharePoint environment to have an automatic translation. So we're in Belgium, so we have 3 national languages, and by union standards, we are obligated to communicate to our users in those 3 languages, so they have their native language to be communicated in. We are also an international company, so English is also on the table, so that's already 4 languages.
Yep.
And if you need to translate articles into those 4 languages, or you write it in one, translate into 3, 1, it's time consuming if you have someone doing it. 2, it costs money if you hire a company to do it, and it will probably cost you more. But now with LLMs being where they are, that the translation is so natural, so even tone gets taken.
Yeah, indeed, that's somewhere where Google Translate or DeepL lacked.
I think DeepL was already closer than Google Translator there, but
of course, yeah. But it's so much better.
I think Google Translator will probably fade out now that Gemini is getting released.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but don't get me started on AI and
No,
translation.
I can feel we're already moving away from the real topic here.
Yeah, exactly.
So Ignite mentioned a lot of Copilot stuff.
Yes.
Tell us more, Nick.
There is about 4 agents that they're gonna introduce for productivity.
Okay.
I don't know all the details, so I'm just gonna say that. They have, in Intune, they're gonna include a Copilot. So Intune is the platform that you use in Microsoft to manage your endpoint devices, and it's more for an administrative help. So if I, as an administrator, want to do a certain action, but I don't know which menu to go and look or which actions to take, I can ask Copilot, like, hey, like for example with conditional access, like where now we needed to go in and really go from a technical perspective, like which steps do we need to take, what do we need to think about. We can just ask Copilot, like, hey, we want to introduce conditional access in our environment, these are the requirements that we want to hit, what do I need to do? And Copilot will tell me like this and this and this and this and this.
And that's nice. It takes away a lot of researching time again. And
yes.
Because Intune it's a fairly big platform, right? There are lots of different menus, different...
It's the same as your XDR, right? You're in the Microsoft 365 or the Microsoft cloud environment. So it is not just Intune. It will also go into your Entra security. It will also go into mainly Entra actually. So your Azure AD. So it links into these other platforms. It's one plane where you can manage most of this. But if I want to assign a program to someone, so we have a software that needs to be installed. It's through a security group. So I can also do that in Entra AD, which is another admin plane. But I don't have to change because it's just in there.
Makes you wonder, why is Microsoft making all these different admin planes for actually the same environment?
Ooh, hot topic, hot take. Because it's a lot. And there's also something as least privileged access, which also probably plays a role in it.
Maybe. But Microsoft has a lot of different platforms to administer all these different things, different APIs to access in order to do stuff. It's a crazy big environment. It's a crazy big ecosystem.
It is, and then the size is not to be underestimated. I think that also plays into your story, right? That you say like, hey, maybe it isn't as bad if it's one big platform, because it can all talk to each other.
Yes, and it takes away a lot of time and effort into making them talk to each other and speak the same language, so the different products understand each other. Now it's just one big ecosystem. All the variables are samely named and all that stuff. You don't need to exchange API keys. They don't expire. It's one tenant. It's one subscription, and it will work together.
I agree. But we're completely going away from our topic of continuous improvement.
Yes, indeed. Did we have actually already a second New Year's resolution?
Well, I don't have a New Year's resolution, but I think it's more of a general resolution. And I kind of want to throw that to you. Why is continuous improvement so important for security?
That's a good one. That is a good one. Why is it important? Well, security is an arms race and will always be. We create something, we create a product, we make it secure, but then one day somebody finds a way to exploit something, somebody finds a vulnerability somewhere, and then we need to improve it once again, and it happens all the time. That's why security is and will always be a big field and an interesting thing. For example, I saw a talk a few weeks ago. It was from the DEF CON from this year. It was a talk by Dirk Jan and I don't remember his real name, but I do remember his Twitter handle. It is Ethical Chaos, and they discussed Windows Hello and how you can abuse stuff in Windows Hello. And while Windows Hello was already part of a continuous improvement from Microsoft to make signing into your laptop and into your Microsoft applications and services way easier by not providing the password but the PIN code or even biometrics. It also improved the way of authenticating yourself to other systems because it is using now FIDO authentication, which we already discussed, way better than traditional username and password. But, well, there were two nerds who had too much time, I guess, and they found out how it works in the background and how we can abuse this from an attacking point of view. So now it is, I guess, once again up to Microsoft to improve there. But as I said, an arms race. It's whack-a-mole. Call it whatever you want, but you want to stay one step ahead of the attackers. But usually you will find that the attackers are one step ahead of us.
I agree. That's continuous improvement, but from the other side.
yeah, but it's cool. I guess without continuous improvement, security wouldn't even exist. It would be
what a world. No.
Yeah, but we actually had an interesting discussion in our company about those PIN codes with Windows Hello, because at some point we were already fantasizing about going passwordless and just using your Windows Hello to authenticate to everything. And then we were talking about PIN codes and how it is really easy. And it was set up in the beginning to just use 4-digit pins. And then at some point, the security team, me also being in there, were like, well, isn't this now a downgrade of how we authenticate to our systems? Isn't this a downgrade in how we protect our end users from being, phished or impersonated? And we needed some time to think about it, but in the end, I remember in our second episode when we talked about passwords and authenticating yourself to a service and multi-factor authentication, where it consists of 3 things. With this Windows Hello thing, you don't really have 3 things anymore, do you? You just have your PIN code and your device, and that's about it. And that is your password, but also your multi-factor authentication method. And that is why we were a bit scared of allowing it to be used in a passwordless situation. Lucky us, we're not there yet, so it is okay as for to be used as an MFA method, but as really being used as the only method of authenticating yourself, I'm not really sure we want to go that way.
Okay. Yeah, I grabbed my phone in this whole explanation because I got reminded that Microsoft also announced that passkey will actually be supported now, so it's...
Passkey is, I guess, kind of a similar thing as the Windows Hello for Business, and
it's also FIDO.
It's FIDO authentication,
yeah.
And it's exactly this that the Ethical Chaos dude and Dirk Jan were able to exploit using Windows Hello. And what they did, Ethical Chaos had a really beautiful demo that he showed in his presentation, where he was able to, and I'm using question marks again because it is a simulated environment where he controls the attacker machine but also the victim machine. But he showed us that when you are able to run malware on a laptop on your victim machine and you have administrative privileges on that machine, you're able to proxy the passkeys through the attacker machine and use the passkeys of the victim machine on the attacker machine to authenticate to certain services. And he was able to log into the GitHub account of the victim on his attacker machine using the passkey that was installed on the victim machine. This was a difficult explanation. Maybe we should just link the talk in our description. Yep. But it was a beautiful demo. It took 15 seconds, I guess, to showcase it, but it's crazy.
damn it, that kind of makes the points that I want to make. Like, yeah, but passkeys are encrypted on the TPM.
Exactly, and this is where that gets interesting. A few weeks ago, we told our very big audience that FIDO is the way to go, and it is a secure way to authenticate yourself besides the side channel attacks that we discussed there. But this is not even a side channel attack that is happening. It's just, well, proxying the passkey through stuff, and it blew my mind to see how it worked.
But is it harder or easier than cracking a password?
It depends. It depends on how strong the password is, actually. But how difficult is it to get a user to click on a link in an email and have some malware run on the system? In some cases, it's very difficult if the end users are trained, but in other cases, it is fairly easy. And if the user is then a local administrator of the laptop, then the passkeys are all yours.
Yeah, that's true. But then, training of an end user, we already talked about it, is very important.
Also part of continuous improvement.
It is also continuous improvement. It's actually, I think, one of the things that people don't think about too much, or maybe overlook, as we are, or no, not people, but we as technical guys sometimes overlook that your community of people around you, of your business, is actually also a really great spot to have continuous improvement. Like, which business processes currently make you lose time? How can we do a continuous improvement effort to help you there?
Yeah, exactly.
But also for security, like, what currently do you know about security? What is the thing? Like, I know on the onboarding of our new employees, you go in and do a nice talk, though you tried it pounding off to one of our colleagues recently, but who was not happy.
No, they were not happy. They were not happy at all. But yeah, well, every new user that comes into the company, we try to give them an onboarding session. What is security essentials, and we try to teach them how to be the human firewall of Linneas, to put it nicely. But we think this is more effective than just giving a PowerPoint presentation and then giving video material and then let them fill in a piece of paper where they declare to have read it and will follow the rules.
It does trigger a thought in my mind, though. So computers have been around for a while now. The internet has been around for a while now. I'm just thinking here now. My dad is, I'm not going to say his age. My dad is almost at pension age. So, but he knows computers. Like, he was around when internet got publicly available for people. The first computers started coming out. You started to have a computer for work. I still remember that he needed to get his emails, and then you could not pick up the phone because the line was dialing. So, like, the older people in our workforce right now, they have had computers around in some way, shape, or form. And maybe I'm just going from my own experience here, and I'm completely forgetting people that did not have access to computers yet through their job. But then I'm thinking about the younger generation, or people our age. I would say we are in the middle, or at least I count me in the middle of where you are in your working career. Like, we have had computers, even if it is just for checking Facebook and surfing the internet and receiving emails. So then I'm thinking, like, okay, does that make it easier or harder to explain to people that they need to be more secure? Because there is a sense of cockiness, you know? Like, I've been using email my entire life. I know how to do this.
Oh, it definitely makes it more difficult. And I'm gonna make the beautiful comparison with drivers and cars and roads. How many of the older generation did make the statement, I can drive after 5 pints of beer. I can drive after the last whiskey. I can still drive after smoking whatever, not tobacco they did, because they were allowed to back in the days. And they did it, and well, they are still alive. And I mean, I cannot say anything, it's true. But they are a danger to everyone else on the road. And I feel in our generation, it has become a standard that you don't drink and drive. And for us, it is easy to explain, and it is a standard, it is normal. But the other people...
But is it the same for security, though?
Yeah, I think so.
Like awareness of what do you put out there, what how secure does my password needs to be. When I notice strange activity on my email account, it's better to reset the password, because you never know. Like I'm getting these emails that says I want an iPhone 16 Pro, I think we all know what phishing emails and spam is and clickbait, and we are all aware that not all promotions like that on the internet are true, but we know that. I don't know, maybe they are, and I missed out on 10 iPhones.
God damn it, if that's the case, I missed out on so much in my life. But no, I think it's well easier now, but the attacks are also way more sophisticated now than back in the days. I mean, I remember one of the first viruses that went around in the world was the I love you PowerShell script, I guess it was, or was it VBS? No, it's definitely VBS.
I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
And it was just one simple email with an attachment called I love you, and the email said to you that you should double click it, and everybody just did. But nowadays you wouldn't just click it when it says hey I love you. They wouldn't just, oh sweet,
no, because nowadays the youth, we all have attachment issues and this kind of stuff.
Nice one.
No. Oh wow, and it works on so many levels. I didn't even see the one with the attachment.
Okay. Oh my god. I didn't hear that one before. Okay, back to seriousness.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Remember last episode I was kind of talking about this blog post that I wrote about sort of stuff. That blog post that I still haven't published anywhere, by the way, talks about that actually with the car industry, and how back in the days you were allowed to do anything. There were no regulations at all, and because cars became so important in our lives, and everybody's having them now, and everybody's driving, and they also drive more fast and than previously, so we needed regulations there to keep our roads safe. And our cars became more smarter. They now have sensors, they have traction control.
Continuous improvement,
Yes. But the car industry went through the whole phase, and nowadays, I mean, the electrical cars even have a cap on speed, because why would a car need to go 200 kilometers per hour? They are capped.
Because I wanted to.
Yeah, we all do, but the industry is not allowed for it anymore. And you can see that the technology industry and the internet is coming to the start of the same phase period, the same thing they need to go through, and we will need and have all these regulations soon. Look at GDPR and NIS2 and all that stuff. And we will need it, and it will help us. My blog post talks about this. I was not gonna do self-promotion here, but
if you actually would have actually published it, you could have plugged it right now. You kind of already did, but
it's ready. I will publish it soon. Maybe that's my New Year's resolution. Well, we have a second one now.
Nice, a second New Year's resolution.
Yes.
Peter is gonna actually write and publish things.
Yeah, I really need to do that, because I have a lot of I call them Peter talking shit kind of post, and it's just me rambling on and putting my thoughts on a paper. But sometimes it helps to structurize things. Anyways,
for me that's called a diary. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They were so mean today at me on work. They were really bashing on me because I am a security guy.
Oh yeah, happens every day.
I cried during lunch in the toilets.
That's not my diary.
Oh no, that might have been mine, sorry.
So where did we left off before I started self-promoting my unpublished blogs?
We were still talking about continuous improvement. We were talking about... Oh no, my question was, but you kind of took it toward the old guys. But I was more talking about the young people. Like, are young... Like, people that join the workforce and have had a computer potentially their entire growing up, are they more aware of security?
Not necessarily aware of security, but they use more security related tools just because they are also more convenient and because they, it kind of got handed in them on a silver plate. Like, for example, a lot of new people that join the company, when I talk about password managers, most of them are like, hey, I already use this iOS key vault thingy. Is that good? And then I tell them, well, it's macOS, so but it's a password manager and it's very good because do you know your own passwords? And then they are like, well, no, not really. I have this one password and it fills in automatically my other passwords for all my different websites. And I'm like, nice, this is what we want. And then we don't really care which tool you use, but it's just being already aware of the concept.
I would not say we don't care which tool you use. There are definitely a couple tools out there that are less secure password managers than others. I'm not going to name names here, but...
Yeah, no, let's not do that. But even using those products is better than having the same password for all your similar websites and having this password for so many years already. So yeah, and when I talk about phishing emails or even what is ransomware, the newer generation pretty much already knows what it is. I tend to still explain it more in detail then, but they are already aware of.
Like you have heard the thing in the news, like, yeah, this big company has been hit by ransomware, blah blah blah. You know, like we were talking before the episode about WannaCry. Yeah, it's been in the news, so people are aware what WannaCry is. They might not technically know what it is, but they know that there is this risk, and if I bring that into the company, it's gonna shut down the company.
Exactly, and nobody wants to be that guy. No.
How much? No.
Well, there was one threat actor group that was abusing indeed the bribing normal people to hand over their credentials so they could install ransomware. So yeah, relevant question. How much?
No. It's it was a joke just because of that,
but even though they know all the basic stuff, you still want to educate your end users on the new tactics. And like, for example, for me, token theft is a very big thing this year. And for me, it is very important that everybody knows what tokens are, what role they play in your identity and accessing your company resources, and how it can be abused and what to do against you for it.
Yeah, I think that's part of the continuous learning, and it's something that people always told me when I said when I started to do IT. It's something that they always told me, like, you're never gonna stop learning. You're always gonna need to keep learning.
Exactly.
Like, there is always gonna be lessons. But I think even though, yeah, maybe in IT it's a little bit more apparent, but I think in every job you need to keep learning, you need to keep improving, you need to keep going forward. In personal life, you need to keep improving, keep going forward. There's always lessons to learn.
So maybe one resolution could be to do continuous improvement on yourself.
Damn, we got deep. I thought we were in IT. I thought we were about IT.
Damn.
Well, okay. I have continuous improvement that I want to do. I want to drink a new beer. Now.
All right. I have the beer for you.
Wow, now he's like claiming to have the beer. And I think it's gonna be something with clowns and noses and lions and tricks, because it's from a brand called Circus. Yeah, is that correct in English as well? Circus, yes.
I think so. Let's go with it.
Okay, it's the fair, whatever, where the clowns and stuff, magicians. And we have the saison, which is, season, I would say, in English. It is from the tree that I bought, because, we got a little pack of it. It is the medium one, so 6.5%. It is a blonde one.
6.5, that's like Grimbergen Blond. A beer that is well known by Belgian people. 6.5 blonde. It is from... I am looking at Untapped to know more about this beer, because we don't want to give wrong information here about the beer.
Sorry, it has a quite distinctive smell when you pour
it. It does, indeed. But it's from the Circus Brouwerij. It's a brewery in Zwevegem. It's in the West Flemish part of Belgium, where all the farmers are. Sorry if I offended people, but farmers are awesome, so it shouldn't offend any people. And if you look at the characteristics of the beer, let's just take a look here what it says. Beers in this category being saison, is often gold to light amber.
Yes.
Bottled condition, which is correct. We have a bottle with some yeast character and high carbonation. Belgian style saison may have Brettanomyces or lactic character and fruity, horsey, goaty and or leather-like aromas and flavors. That sounds like farmers to me. I just had to make the joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So before the episode, he made the joke in Dutch, and then I was like, I don't know if it's gonna work in English, but he just went for it.
Cheers.
Okay, I'm a little bit curious because it does have a very distinctive smell, and I don't know about the taste now.
It also has a distinctive taste. I think it's typical seasoning beer. Saison. Here it says it's commonly called farmhouse ale, so the jokes are not wrong or misplaced.
You're on brand with the jokes. Yeah, I had to fight through some foam for me to get to the actual beer, because
the beer is a bit bitter. They say citrusy, which I'll need another sip, but might be.
I don't get the citrusy.
It is a bit fruity, fresh.
Oh, I wouldn't even say the. Okay, you're having a different taste than I have. I was more thinking towards what you said, the leathery, horsey,
goaty.
Yeah, like the.
And they say carbonated, but I wouldn't have a clue what kind of taste carbonated is.
Oh no, it's just the physically. I don't think carbonated is something you.
And here we go again. Misinformation about beer. Awesome. Well, it is indeed carbonated. What, sparkly?
Yeah, sparkly.
Yeah, sure.
There is a lot of CO2.
Now the name makes sense indeed.
Which makes you burp, which I'm trying not to
Yep.
do in the mic.
Exactly. So,
But
let's
yes, it's
take a picture for the social media.
oh boy. Okay, but yeah. So we had this saison from the Circus brewery. I must say, not really in my wheelhouse. It is a little bit too.
You mean in your farmhouse?
Please, someone stop the guy. He's now on a roll. He's gonna keep going. We need to shut down this podcast.
We need to stop this now.
Because otherwise it's gonna be another 20 minutes of just farm-related jokes.
I will stop. But in terms of scoring the beer, what would you rate it on 5?
Yeah, so personally, not really my taste. So I would go for like a 2. I can appreciate the craftsmanship. I don't know how else to say it. Like, it does have good, or it has flavor. It's not really my kind of flavor, but it is there. What they advertise is there. So yeah, I would go for a 2, but it's just because of my my own preference.
I agree. I put in 2.25. I don't know why. I have no decent explanation for it, but it's gut feeling.
All right.
With that, it is checked in.
So we had the beer, we had continuous improvement. We have 2 New Year's resolutions, one a little bit harder than the other. I'll make you find out which one on the next episode.
Yeah, I'll really need to dig through this. Sure.
If there is a link in the next episode to Peter's blog post, we will know.
Let's make it work, huh? The last thing that I do in the year 2024
is press publish on an article you've been writing.
Press publish would be very easy. I first need to set up the website, find a good domain. Maybe I could use the IT on top domain, but we still need to
maybe. So yeah, we are working on a website.
Very hard.
Yeah, we've been working on it endlessly. It's been hours and hours of doing nothing. But yeah, we're working on it. And maybe, yeah, that's a platform that Peter can use for his...
yeah.
What was it?
Peter talking shit.
Yes.
It's amazing. Yeah. And maybe a third resolution for the both of us is to create more... How do you say this in English? Create more propaganda for the podcast, find a bigger audience of people, and just publish some more about it, because we didn't really put it out there in the world on our social medias.
No, we're kind of keeping it of a selective crowd. My huge following on LinkedIn hasn't had the pleasure yet.
Yeah, mine either on Twitter nor Blue Sky. Have you heard about Blue Sky? This will be the last topic of the episode.
Okay, what is Blue Sky?
Blue Sky is an attempt of, and I don't know who created it, but to get people away from Twitter and put into a new social media platform. I know that Mastodon has been there a few months ago, also to compete with Twitter. I know some people who went to Mastodon, but for me, I never really felt it. And now Blue Sky is a new social media. I registered on there. A lot of security people registered on there, and I hope that I can get back into, the valuable feed that I had back in the days on Twitter, which is now complete garbage because of
which is now Threads, but yeah. No, Threads is the
Threads is
Facebook
from
Meta one.
Instagram.
Yeah.
It is actually X or Xitter, but we still call it Twitter and we still call it tweeting. I never hear somebody saying I am xeeting, because it doesn't work, or xing or whatever. It doesn't.
For visual reference, he just did like the weirdest dab that I have seen in my life.
But who knows? Blue Sky might be the new cool social media.
So you're just saying that you want to have the people that listen to this podcast to make a Blue Sky account so they can.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that I might
word.
publish on Blue Sky that I am hosting this podcast together with you to maybe try and get some new listeners to it.
That is really great. But yes, indeed, taking this podcast to the next level is indeed something of a New Year's resolution for myself as well. And how are we going to achieve that? You will need to listen and keep your eyes and ears
open,
pointed.
Yes. Yeah, and maybe with that we can close it off.
Exactly, because we still have some beer to finish.
Yes, indeed.
So this was our
fourth episode.
See, we're getting there.
Awesome.
when we get to 10, I think we need to do something special.
I might. Well, we both had a very great idea for an episode. Maybe that could be the 10th.
Yes. So we're gonna get tattoos. No. No, just
that
kidding.
Was not the idea that I meant. All right. Well, thank you for listening and see you next month. This was IT on Top.
See you next month.